Hello, folks. I am Alan for today's news. I will be reading and speaking about world news, interesting news, news to keep you entertained, and news to keep you informed. First thing I got for you right here from News 360. U.S. warns that Russia wants to send a delegation to Pyongyang, whatever we call it, to negotiate arms. Let me see what it says here.
The United States warned Thursday that Russia wants to send a delegation to North Korea to negotiate the acquisition of weapons in exchange for food in order to replenish its arsenal lost in the context of the war in Ukraine. The spokesman for the U.S. National Security Council, John Kirby, said Thursday that Moscow is actively seeking to acquire weapons from Pyongyang, even sending a delegation to the country, according to CNN. These words come after Washington announced sanctions against a Slovakian citizen for interceding so that Russia could buy weapons from North Korea to cover the losses of its arsenal following the invasion launched in Ukraine more than a year ago. The U.S. Treasury Department believes that this individual, Ashit Mkrtchev, contacted Kim Jong-un's regime with a view to obtaining more than 20 different types of weapons and ammunition. In exchange, Moscow would deliver to Pyongyang different types of goods, including commercial aircraft, in a cooperation with which both parties sought mutual benefit.
And the source of that was from European Press. And we'll go to the next one here. Financial world legend sounds alarm over biggest banks that's going down. This is from Fox News.
In the aftermath of the Silicon Valley Bank collapse, finance expert Robert Kiyosaki cautioned the central bank of a global powerhouse may be the next to belly up. The biggest bank that's going to go down is Bank of Japan, Kiyosaki explained. Because the Bank of Japan carried the interest rates at, 0 or whatever they did, and financed the derivatives markets. And the derivatives market, as Warren Buffett said about derivatives, they're weapons of mass financial destruction, and the derivatives market in the world today, financed by the Bank of Japan, is $1 quadrillion. The Rich Dad, Poor Dad author's comments come amid what some have optimistically labeled a market rally after stocks recorded another strong day and markets looked positive in March. Kiyosaki, however, challenged the idea of a comeback, noting issues with the derivative markets. He also warned the Bank of Japan's heavy connection to derivative markets put it in a more vulnerable position and threatened greater effects on the global economy. The Bank of Japan has been financing derivatives. Derivatives are $1 quadrillion. That's 1,000 trillion, he explained on Kavuto, Coast to Coast Thursday. So we haven't seen the crash coming yet. In addition to the issue with derivative markets, the financial legend criticized money printing habits along with the Federal Reserve's aggressive rate hike strategy. Since 2008, interest rates have been dropping. All of a sudden, the interest rates are going up. Federal Reserve Chair Powell has raised interest rates faster than any time in history. So somebody says, well, he's playing Volcker. Well, former Fed Chair Paul Volcker raised interest rates over years. Powell is doing it over months, Kiyosaki said. Kiyosaki argued against age-old advice on the Fed given the rapid pace of rate hikes.
And you can read the rest of this in my description box if you like. I'm going to the next one here. This is from the Cool Down. American companies are importing massive amounts of used cooking oil from China, all for one unexpected reason.
In 2023 so far, the U.S. has imported about 530,000 barrels of used cooking oil to make renewable diesel, a sustainable fuel made from food waste. Renewable diesel is a type of biofuel that is chemically identical to traditional diesel fuel, according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration. This means it can be used in ordinary diesel engines and mixed in with diesel fuel. But instead of being made from crude oil, it's made from vegetable oil or animal fat. Rudolf Diesel, the inventor of the diesel engine, also experimented with vegetable oil as a power source, the EIA reports. However, it took until the early 2000s for companies to begin producing biofuel in bulk. Now the U.S. Department of Energy says that there are 5 plants in the U.S. making renewable diesel. While this incredible fuel source is a smart investment, manufacturers still need raw materials to work with. As of now, they're getting it from China. The analytics firm Nuclea told Bloomberg the 530,000 barrels shipped between January and February, and the predicted 239,000 barrels for March, are the first imports of this type since the group began gathering data in 2007. Renewable diesel is a good financial choice for companies because there's a virtually endless supply of vegetable oil compared to a limited amount of crude oil. In addition, Bloomberg reports that there are government subsidies making it even more profitable to manufacture biofuel. As the market develops, these savings could be passed on to consumers. This fuel source is also eco-friendly while harvesting crude oil from underground pollutes the environment. According to Bloomberg, making and using renewable diesel creates only about 20% as much heat-trapping gas as traditional diesel, helping slow down rising temperatures worldwide. According to the U.S. Department of Energy, the U.S. used almost 1 billion gallons of renewable diesel in 2020. It expects 6 new plants to open in the near future, increasing the U.S.'s capacity to produce renewable diesel by 2 billion gallons. Join our free newsletter for cool news and actionable info that makes it easy to help yourself.
Okay, that's enough of that. And there ain't no more to read in that one there. And let's go to the next one now. This one here from News. AI expert warns that 6-month moratorium not enough. Literally everyone on Earth will die.
An artificial intelligence expert is warning America that Elon Musk and others' proposal to halt AI technology for 6 months is not nearly enough. Eliezer Yudkowsky, a decision theorist at the Machine Intelligence Research Institute with more than 2 decades of experience studying AI safety, said Musk and others understated the seriousness of the situation. Yudkowsky said that he would take the moratorium further, implementing a halt of AI production that is indefinite and worldwide. Yudkowsky's suggestions appeared in an op-ed in which he warned that literally everyone on Earth will die if tech companies don't put an end to AI building. This comes after Tesla CEO Musk and hundreds of other tech people suggested in an open letter that there's a 6-month moratorium on producing AI systems more powerful than GPT-4. Powerful AI systems should be developed only once we are confident that their effects will be positive and their risks will be manageable, the letter said. Yudkowsky said, "The key issue is not human competitive intelligence, as the open letter puts it, it's what happens after AI gets to smarter than human intelligence," Yudkowsky wrote for Newsweek. Yudkowsky said that if artificial intelligence becomes smarter than human, it could ultimately disobey its creators and become an aggressor. Visualize an entire alien civilization, thinking at millions of times human speeds, initially confined to computers, in a world of creatures that are, from its perspective, very stupid and very slow, he wrote. Yudkowsky said that with no plan to deal with a superintelligence, it could lead to the annihilation of Earth. Visualize an entire alien civilization, thinking at millions of times human speeds, initially confined to computers, in a world of creatures that are, from its perspective, very stupid and very slow, he writes. Yudkowsky said that stopping the AI creation is highly important as it is a bigger threat than a nuclear apocalypse. Shut it all down, Yudkowsky wrote. Shut down all the large GPU clusters, the large computer farms where the most powerful AIs are refined. Shut down all the large training runs. Put a ceiling on how much computing power anyone is allowed to use in training an AI system, and move it downward over the coming years to compensate for more efficient training algorithms. No exceptions for governments and militaries.
So y'all remember the old sci-fi movies and stuff where the robots takes over, kill the creators? Just saying, if we do get AI robots and they see these computers, they say, "What is this?" And we explain it to them. They said, it's not a good thing. Let's go to the next one. This is from Benzinga. Putin ally warns immediate use of Russian nuclear weapons if U.S. deploys nukes in Ukraine.
Vladimir Putin's ally and former Russian President Dmitry Medvedev, reacting to a petition in Ukraine asking the U.S. to station its nukes in Kyiv, said it would lead to an immediate use of Russian nuclear weapons. Trending, Kathy Wood thinks there's a cooler kid. What happened? Medvedev, currently serving as deputy chairman of the Security Council of the Russian Federation, wrote on Telegram that a petition had been published in Kyiv, urging Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to consider restoring Ukraine's nuclear status, along with the option of deploying and utilizing NATO nuclear weapons. And what? Tanks and missiles are being delivered, aircraft are almost ready to be delivered. You look, and they will give up their nuclear weapons, he said, adding, no pity for good people.
And there's more to read if you want to read more of this here. We're going to the next one now. This is from All Hip Hop. Donald Trump indicted. MagaManiacs threaten war.
Donald Trump became America's first former president to be charged with a crime. According to multiple reports, a New York grand jury indicted Trump on Thursday, March 30th. The former president has been under investigation for hush money paid to Stormy Daniels during his 2016 presidential campaign. Trump's former attorney Michael Cohen admitted he paid Daniels $130,000 to keep quiet about her alleged affair with the ex-president. Daniels, an adult film star, allegedly had sex with Trump in 2006. Daniels received money for her silence in the months leading up to the 2016 presidential election. Reports about the payment emerged in 2018. The exact charge or charges against Trump haven't been disclosed. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg's investigation reportedly focused on falsifying business records. Trump, who is running for president in 2024, denied any wrongdoing. His current lawyer Joe Tacopina echoed the same sentiment in a statement to the Associated Press. He did not commit any crime, Tacopina said. We will vigorously fight this political prosecution in court. News of Trump's indictment sparked outrage from his ardent supporters on social media. Mega diehards suggested going to war in support of the twice-impeached ex-president. Check out some of the mega reactions to the indictment below. The post Donald Trump indicted, MagaManiacs threaten war first appeared on All Hip Hop.
This right here is some there's some tweets from Ronnie Jackson. This is a dark day in American history. President Trump's only crime was making America great again. These cowardly Democrats hate Trump and hate his voters even more. When Trump wins, these people will pay. Here's another one from another tweet. It says, what a stain on America, the continuous witch hunt against the greatest president in history. And now his BS Trump indictment. This only embolders our MAGA movement, Trump 2024. So my post that you tell I'm coming. and hell's coming with me. There's another one that said, "We are ready, sir. Hooray!" I mean, hurrah! Somebody said, "Lock and load. It is time." Somebody here tweeted, "They just indicted Trump. The second civil war is about to start. You and I won't be in the same country soon." And I believe that too. Said this is their plan. This is what they want to happen. A total destruction of the United States of America. The communist state always planned destruction from the inside. And the Democrats are the communists. And I knew he would be indicted because, New York is a Democratic state. And I bet you the jurors were all Democrats. It's just like putting if a cop shoots a black man and all the jurors are black, the cop is going to be indicted, There's no thinking about it. So it's not a fair trial. I know that. And you heard about the Civil War in North and South. It would be the Civil War, Democrats and Republican. Let's go on to the next one. This is from 1945. Something is seriously wrong with Joe Biden.
President Joe Biden looks like he cannot take a simple tour of a manufacturing facility without non-stop directions from a guide throughout the event. In an embarrassing video showing his recent stroll through a semiconductor plant in Durham, North Carolina, Joe Biden had to be given instructions like someone who did not know the basics of simply walking in a straight line and talking to voters. The president needed a coach to choreograph his every move.
Down here?
Yes, sir. Down the ramp. And we have people lined up on the left over here. Some union leaders and workers.
Hey, guys and ladies.
Your mark is going to be the blue one to the left.
How y'all doing?
You've got a blue mark, and that's okay.
I'll stand my blue mark, and then I'm going to say hello to each one of you.
Yes, sir. I'll help you get started.
See, they had to give Joe Biden directions step by step at this plan. That man's not right. See what else it says here.
What did the Joe Biden footage show? The video looked and sounded problematic as it picked up Biden's feeble movement, and a hot mic showed evidence of his continuous need for directions from his handlers. The footage showing the bewildered and confused president was posted on Twitter March 28, and it had racked up 3.2 million views in the first 24 hours. More, Joe Biden headed for impeachment? More, could Donald Trump get saved by a pardon? More, Hunter Biden's legal nightmare is now far worse. More, Joe Biden's presidency is fading away. More, the collapse of Fox News, CNN, and MSNBC has begun? Here are some of the quotes from his coaches that guided the puzzled president. Dash down here? Biden asked. Yes, sir, down the ramp, and we have people lined up on the left over here. Dash, there are some union workers and ladies, the guide said. Hey guys and ladies, as Joe Biden waved. Dash, your mark is going to be the blue one on the left. You got a blue mark, but that's okay. Dash, I'll stand on my blue mark, and then I'm going to say hello to each one of you. Biden said. I'll help you get started, the coach explained.
Now it sounds like he's in kindergarten, and they're trying to tell him step by step what to do. I don't know how he even became president, to tell you the truth.
Summarize the agony. Let's unpack this a little to reveal just how clueless Biden seems during this event. He needed to be told where to go. He required the guide to tell him there were people present. He needed a marker to tell him where to stand, and he desired help to get started when it came to visiting workers. This was not a complicated fight scene in a Hollywood action movie that needs special choreography and multiple takes. This is just meeting people at a factory, one of the simplest ceremonial events a politician can embark on. Enter, walk, talk, shake hands, and exit. So simple, a caveman can do it, to quote a famous commercial from Geico. He's done it before. This was like the time Joe Biden only had to walk a straight line on a red carpet to examine Polish troops at a review ceremony in Poland in February. Biden had to be guided as he confusedly tottered off while checking out the soldiers. He walked away from the red carpet and had to be straightened out by a handler. Then there was the time a young girl had to take the president by the hand and guide him off stage after a speech. Why does this keep happening? One reason is that Biden's handlers try to control his every word and movement, so much that he is paralyzed without instruction. Biden doesn't seem to be embarrassed when he is caught in these perplexing situations where he clearly doesn't know what to do without guidance. Another reason is that he is not aware of his surroundings and just turns it over to someone else because he is so used to being scatterbrained. This foggy mental state keeps him from making his own decisions about simple movement and doing what politicians naturally do, which is interact with voters without being told how to do it. Well, at least the Secret Service know where he is. In Biden's defense, these instructions help his Secret Service detail know exactly where the president is going at all times, a good thing that allows for better security and protection. But gee whiz. Not surprisingly, conservatives had a high time making fun of the president, who continues to show effects from his advanced age and apparent declining mental faculties. We are just going to have to get used to Jen Biden's struggles in the public eye. There has been no improvement, only regression. The president is living in a fog that requires handlers to explain every movement he must make in social situations. This calls into question his decision-making process. Is he able to make decisions without mentally stumbling and doddering? If so, that is a worrisome thought. The leader of the free world needs an alarming amount of hand-holding. We can only hope that Joe Biden is on better footing away from the cameras. Author expertise and experience. Serving as 1945's Defense and National Security Editor, Dr. Brent M. Eastwood is the author of Humans, Machines, and Data: Future Trends in Warfare. He is an emerging threats expert and former U.S. Army infantry officer. You can follow him on Twitter at BM Eastwood. He holds a Ph.D. in political science and foreign policy/international relations.
And that's all I got on this one here. Except, let's see. I'm going to have a link in my description about one of my newscasts, a couple of newscasts back, about how Joe Biden and Hunter Biden is, been getting money from China, and about Joe Biden's daughter, them both taking a shower. It'll all be in my description box. And this is what it will look like if Trump gets arrested. Let me see what it says here.
Trump in jail? Many political observers have been imagining for many years what it might look like if the former president gets arrested. Trump headed to the big house? Donald Trump has never been arrested or indicted before, many years of investigations notwithstanding. Also, no current or former president of the United States has ever been arrested in the country's history. Both of those streaks may end as soon as this week. Trump had said on Truth Social over the weekend that he expected to be indicted this week in New York, although his legal team has backed off a bit on the timing. Fox News reported Monday that law enforcement officials have met behind closed doors to talk about the logistics of how a Trump arraignment would work. The talks entailed such questions as which streets would need to be blocked off and the deployment of extra police. The Fox report added that because another witness will appear before the grand jury Wednesday, the the originally reported timeline of a Tuesday arrest will likely not happen, and any arraignment would likely be pushed to next week. NBC News Chief Justice contributor Jonathan Dienst said on TV Monday that the grand jury may decide on Wednesday. The Times report added that there will not be a virtual arraignment, meaning that Trump, who spends most of his time at his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida, will need to travel to New York to appear in court in person. The New York Times also reported on the potential logistics of how Trump's arrest would work. If Donald J. Trump is indicted by a Manhattan grand jury in the days ahead for his role in a hush money payment to a porn star, the former President of the United States of America will be read the standard Miranda warning. He will be told that he has the right to remain silent and the right to an attorney, the Times said. The newspaper reported that talks were held last week between the Manhattan District Attorney's Office and both the New York Police Department and the state agency that supervises the courts in the state of New York. Trump's lawyers have said that he will surrender to authorities and fly to New York for his court appearance.
Okay, you can read the rest of this in my description box. I'm going to play this little video here, see what it's about.
Was Donald Trump's rise a fluke? But descending on the golden escalator to a crowd of interested onlookers, real estate magnate turned reality television star Donald J. Trump was riding to his destiny back in 2015. He was sent to announce his candidacy for president in the most unlikely way. His announcement, in which he claimed that Mexico was not sending us their best immigrants, but instead had been flooding our country with drugs, rapists, and an assortment of other less than savory individuals, was the most unconventional presidential announcement speech in history. From the start, Donald Trump had militated at least as many people against him as he had attracted voters to him.
And you saw Trump and Kim shake hands. You know, Trump didn't want the drugs in our, cross our border, but Biden let them in. You never see Biden over there shaking hands with Kim. Nope. Biden is not a good president. We will be going to war sooner or later. Trust me. If things doesn't change. And I got one more here for you. This is on YouTube. This is says Taliban shows off seized U.S. equipment. It's disturbing. We'll watch a part of this.
Secretary of State Anthony Blinken with a subpoena today after he refused to turn over classified department communications from July 2021, which reportedly warned of coming chaos related to his idea of the Afghanistan withdrawal. And guess what we got? Chaos. This is the Taliban released these photos of the U.S. military equipment that they seized after we left it behind. Yup, saying they restored hundreds of U.S. military vehicles. Remember they told us they were disabled? Texas Congressman, retired Navy SEAL himself, Morgan Luttrell, joins us. Morgan, I know the biggest news is it's your mom's birthday, so you want to say something?
I do. Happy birthday, Mom. I love you.
All right, and as does Marcus, I'm sure. But first on this stuff, you have got to the point where you have to subpoena the Secretary of State to give you the cables that revealed the dissension within the State Department that showed that they were warned ahead of time, it seems, that this would be the disaster it was.
We did. We've tried to do this cordially across party lines, and Blinken's he's not doing it correctly. So Chairman McCall had to issue the subpoena. So now we're going to start to unpack this. Now we're going to be able to find out the information that the American public wants, and we want as well. And that's our job as legislators.
So this is part of the State Department response to the subpoena. The department followed up with the committee to reiterate its willingness to provide a briefing about the concerns raised about the challenges identified by Embassy Kabul, including the dissent channel the committee chose instead of issuing a subpoena. The department remains committed to providing the committee with information it needs to conduct its oversight function. So if they want to brief you behind closed doors, they don't want us to see.
Yeah, well, that's our job to make sure the American public is read in, and that's what we plan on doing.
What if they don't comply? Do you know what's next?
Do I know what's next? No, I don't. It's the game that we play up here in Washington, D.C., unfortunately. But at holding the majority, and again, with Chairman McCall at the helm of this, we're going to dig in hard. And it's our job to apply the pressure and continue to apply the pressure.
So, Congressman, I want you to, everybody at home, to take a look at these photos of what we left behind in Afghanistan. If you want more proof that nobody thought this through, these are the people that lost their lives, and knowing that we had the bomber in our sights, and look at what we left behind in terms of hardware. The American people paid for this. You guys paid for, in many cases, your lives for this and your livelihoods for this. What are your thoughts about these photos? Disturbing.
I mean, I served in Afghanistan alongside my brothers and sisters in arms, and I won't say that this was inevitable. We saw this coming. It was just a mismanagement of not only manning and equipment, and I think the Biden administration failed miserably and rushed to judgment. Didn't listen to the leadership on the ground, and everything was silent, and we're not sharing any information. And this was the result. We lost 13 Marines. Or 12 Marines and a sailor, and it just should never happen. This what you're seeing now is just a transition into what we're seeing in Ukraine, what we're seeing in China to Taiwan, Iran to Syria, so on and so forth.
There's no question. We watched 74 attacks since 2021 in Syria at our 900 people that are there, and it happened over the weekend.
We watch the rest of this if you want. The link will be in my description box. And that's all I got for you today. And at the top here, you see a link to that one newscast show I did a couple of days ago. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and at least come back once in a while. And I thank you for watching.